Hi, and welcome back. And I'm JD Whitfield with Recovery Matters. And today I have John Agnew as a guest. And I appreciate you coming on such short notice.
Thank you very much, Jamie. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. So, what are we going to talk about today? I just thought we'd sit here and just chat.
And that's okay. I mean, because, a lot of times when we talk and when we're talking not in front of a camera,
Yes.
we talk about recovery and we talk about the importance of taking care of ourselves and how, when we start living this life of recovery, the new attitudes we have to have towards ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, we have to look at ourselves. We want to help people.
Yes,
That's
we
our
do.
desire. Our desire is to help individuals, find that better way of life. And what other better way than to model that in our own selves? And so, if we're wanting to, help an individual become healthy, mind, body, and spirit, then we model those things to them. We ask ourselves those hard questions. Is this something I really need to be doing, or how much do I put my foot into this? Or how much stuff can I carry? I learned early on in my recovery that I am not Hercules.
You're not?
I'm not Hercules, and I cannot carry the world on my shoulders.
So what does that balance look like to you? What do you, because I feel like you're talking to me about that self-care and that balance with things. So what does that look like to you? I mean, what is the message you want to give others that are trying to be Superwoman or Hercules, because we want to take on other people's recovery and we want them to get it, and we'll go to any lengths for them to get it, even if it means that we hurt ourselves in the process.
And that is exactly why it is so important that we have balance.
Yes.
I think I shared with you one time about this little balance thing that one of my early sponsors, one of my first sponsors, had given me was, how do you balance your work life, your recovery and spiritual life? How do you balance spending time with your family? And how much time do we spend in our leisure?
Yes.
Sometimes
I still have that on my wall.
Yeah. And, and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we have to make a plan on how we're going to use that time. And it's a process.
Yes.
You and I talked before, and it is a process. So because sometimes we don't learn it early on, but it's a process that we can grow into. And what it looks like, that I'm very conscious of the time that I have with my family. I'm very conscious of the time that I spend in recovery. And I'm very conscious the pandemic did a whole lot of damage to a whole lot of people figuring out leisure time. And some people didn't have the opportunities or the ideas that, sometimes that leisure time with your family is remarkable.
Yes.
I've never laughed with my kids. I mean, I've coached them, I've done a lot of things, but I laugh with my kids doing this thing more than I have ever laughed with them ever. And playing silly games, those kind of things, where I was able to just kind of let loose with my family. It's hard to let loose with our family because we're mom and we're dad. And we have to have this.
Yeah.
So what we're still doing is we're still Hercules, right?
Right.
And we don't want that. So relaxing, learning how to relax, and learning how to allow others to bump their head.
Yes, we did talk about that.
We talked about that. Learning how to give them the tools to make that path that goes around the tree instead of bumping their head into the tree. We can offer that. We have some knowledge about recovery. We have some experience about recovery, and we pass that experience and that knowledge on to others so they don't have to bump their head. Now, does that mean that they're not going to bump their head? Nah.
No.
But if they bump their head hard enough, it's like maybe I don't want to run into this tree
Right.
anymore.
Maybe that hurts, and so I'll stop that.
Yes,
you
that
know.
hurts.
So, yeah, and I know for our conversation that we had earlier that I was like, why don't you just come on the show and let's talk about this? You know, it's really hard. You know, because we talked about how we had to have stitches and surgery when we bumped, and we
Absolutely.
did beyond bumping our heads, you
Yes.
know. And so, but we, you know, for me, I take it so personal because I don't want people, I want to be that cushion. And sometimes you just have to let people bump their heads to learn, because that's how we grow. But it's hard to sit back and allow and see that happen.
Especially when you're healthy in that area of your life. If we're
Right.
healthy in that area of our life, then yeah, we want to definitely be able to catch
Mm-hmm.
these individuals when they fall. And you know, some we can,
Yes.
because they're not falling so hard
Right.
that we're going to fall with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we're pretty strong enough to sometimes where we can catch them, but what we do is we catch them and we just hold on to them.
Right.
That's
We
the
love
problem.
them, you
Yes,
know, and we help them up.
Right.
And that's the beauty of being in recovery, I feel, is being able to help those sometimes that can't help themselves.
Absolutely.
And it warms my heart, and it also makes me cry though too, because I do want to, just like you, you are someone that is a mentor and has inspired me to be who I am today and be active in the recovery community, just with Oxford, just, you know, be that voice for the voiceless. And so when my mentor tells me, are you taking care of yourself? Are you finding that balance? I'm like, yeah, I am. You know.
And then I get a phone call. It's like, hey, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, I'll give her a call. One of the things that is very crucial to our recovery, that we be able to continue to do what we do, is we have to take care of ourselves. Because we are passionate. It's a gift to be passionate about people, because you know, in today's society, we don't see a lot of that.
No,
we don't see. You know, I'm so glad for this format that we could talk about positive things and we can uplift people, because that's what we want to do. We want to uplift individuals
Yes.
in their recovery and let them know your words to me is that everybody can recover, everybody can have a different way to live, and everybody can be blessed by that. And so I take your words to heart.
Thank you. Well, we are out of time. I just want to thank you again for being on the show today.